Okay, hear me out. What would you do if you find out that the company you hired to do your work doesn't even know what you do? Pretty weird situation to be in, right? And you know what? I walked into one. Let me tell you about it. So I worked for this company. I was really excited. And the way I step into when it comes to unfamiliar space, especially when it comes to like a new job, I take my time in terms of, okay, how I unravel, I would say secrets. So in terms of mission, vision, and basically have, meetings and one-to-one conversation into finding out what the company is all about, what the vision is, how the company needs to be set up, how it is with the competitors, right? And when I found out that the because I was working on multiple things, when I found out the company already has an SEO agency working for them, for me it was like amazing, like that. Because I was like, okay, I and the company, we both can easily collaborate into working on it. That would work perfectly. Little did I know. And why I say that is that um, when I held a meeting with the company trying to understand and even look at the document, I was I was taken aback by looking at their definition of how they see the company. Not only that, yeah, they didn't have any consideration when it comes to how the company is evolved, how the company is now defining themselves, but their previous understanding even of what the company does was broken, right? And at that time, I knew that the right way to go about would be to define, but at the same time, everything needs to work because, when it comes to founders, like we as founders, we don't want shooting blindly, right? We have hard-earned money, and when it comes to even deploying something like into entering to online world or even offline world, right? We need to make sure that, okay, I know what the prerequisites are. I know what target we need to achieve. And I also know what wouldn't work for the way my company works and what would work, right? But if prerequisite, if the work is not done, how would you even know what's not working? Do you really think it's good to test everything, hoping one thing would work because sometimes it just does. But that's when it happens when the founders run into chaos because they see, okay, this is the effort and the money I'm putting in, this is the result I'm getting, and why is the gap so high, right? So now I'm going to basically take you through because I had to take in my own hands working on the strategy so I can not only give them a whole idea, but also like take them through how the company is defined, what I've worked on, have meetings, so they know exactly not only the base we are in, but area regions we are targeting and how we are different and what needs to be measured, right? So I'm just now going to take you through the SEO document I prepared, right? One second. Yeah. Okay. So first, definitely when it comes to even me, like I told you about walking into an unfamiliar business, it all comes down to first brand positioning, right? If the people you hire, yeah, third party or even the employees, they don't even know what you do. how do you expect them to even achieve those results, right? That's basically what I went with it, right? So the company was an immersive and interactive tech company, and the way they were set up, yes, there were other players in the market, but the company had this divided circle, the way they work and the way they have relationships when it comes to agencies, those clients, and the way they deploy basically, right? So I had to clear that there's not just one arching definition, there are different parts to it. And if one part is missing, that means your whole premise is faulted, right? And then, of course, move on to competitors. Now, when it comes to competitors, you might be into one country, but your business could be sped up, right? And yes, this company, when it comes to you having into your own locality, that's basically local SEO, right? But when it comes to you working with international clients, that means your horizon has increased. That also means your competitors have increased as well. And that just means that those need to take into place. And the way I've written over here, direct SEO competitors per region, that basically means that they're going to be competitors that you're going to compete with your skills, right? They're going to competitor different by regions. They're going to be also competitors that would you would compete when it comes to SEO, and that's a whole different story, and that's a very important story that needs to be considered, and that's why that's included over here. Moving on, another important keyword strategy. I mean, keywords come at so important, right? Um, but since I know that you would be thinking, okay, they have a SEO company, why are you working on keywords too? And I know. But the thing is that the way keywords even strategy was prepared, I could see the I would say the brokenness in terms of what needs to be there, how the company is defined, and how keywords just hang there in between. And that's not how, um, if you are a founder and you're working on a company, even if it's an early stage, that's not how you would work or even define in terms of what growth is for you. Do not want these important things such as keyword strategy or keywords just to hang in there, right? And that's why I had to take it upon in my own hands, defining every part so that they know where to look, they know what it's all about, and they just have to put in the best tools, put in the best people on work, and they can produce results. The first would be like multiple search intents, informational, commercial, navigational. That's basically the learning stage, the evaluating stage, and then again this specific brand stage, so that we can understand that where everything is coming from, and we know exactly when it comes to mapping with the right keywords, and that's basically the buyer's persona when it comes in, right? If the company, even your employees, doesn't even understand the buyer's mindset, the journey, it's just a simple overarching journey that I've written, the awareness, consideration, decision. That's simple. But those three things, when it comes to your own business, those just define separately. Like the way you are going to do it, definitely other people, even the same business, going to do it differently. That needs to be defined so that a full journey is set up so that each keywords could target in that way, and you can market in that way based on what stage your buyer is. And very important. And after all this, yes, in theory it looks like okay, it's sparkly, it's shiny, it looks amazing, but how are you going to measure it? You're really going to look at impressions? Traffic, is that a really good measure? Because if that's your measure, then the point of being happy with the blind throw results, it's just coming into play, right? So when it comes to authority, right, analytics and KPIs are equally important. Equally, in terms of strategy is made and how strategy is going to give you return results, right? So first is core success KPIs, so branded search growth, um, keyword share by region, like we already talked about. So by region, they're going to be defined organic conversion rate and position by keyword clusters, proper clusters. So you exactly know that even with keywords, even with clusters, what are you actually achieving? In defining your brand worth, where you're coming from. And then definitely, since it was an immersive interactive tech, I had to bring in the behavioral, right? And the way tracking is done, like the amazing part is that's different. But what I did was, yeah, they're going to be people coming onto your website and they're going to spend less than 10 seconds. Or maybe some people spend even more. But if they don't have following the right methods of going through pages and taking like clicking the right thing, that means that maybe someone stumbled across it, and if you're not able to identify the traffic in that way, then that means you're just noting down everyone coming onto the website, and if that's not defined properly, then of course it's going to create a havoc, right? So that's why I included behavioral tracking layer. So scroll depth, CTA clicks from fills organically scoring, right? So coming back to all of it, yes, all of it is very important, but at the same time, you need to understand that these are all prerequisite, with brand positioning being the main thing, because you can hire people, you can hire agencies, you can partner well, but if that person does not show interest into learning about what you do, your mission, your vision, the way you're differentiated, the way your market is set up, then is that even the right person for you to trust in? We founders, we have our hard-earned money, and when it comes to even growth, we take it step by step, and we make sure that whenever there is money or even efforts are invested, you're very cautious about it, right? And it's not just anywhere and everywhere, right? So again, it comes down to the same thing. As a founder, you need to ask yourself, if you have people and if it comes to marketing and you are feeling that dissonance, are you able to trace your steps back? Are you able to see if the people who are working on it knows exactly that needs to be done, that steps need to be followed in order to have that results? And if there is a gap in that, then you probably need to rethink about who you partner with. Because as someone, as like me positioning as strategic partner, it's, yeah, I know that I have always been that kind of person that I immerse myself and I understand, how things work and if there's dissonance and everything. But of course, you can have an agency and you can have people in-house as well. That's perfectly well. But a right protocol, a right prerequisite, if those are not met, then are you really okay with shooting blindly and hoping it lands? Because yes, we all are in this figurative race of the world, and if we don't reach, we might end up in a ditch, that figurative ditch that no one knows about, no one can see, it's just in their mind. But even if for your business you have to take one step back, analyzing, solidifying, making sure the foundation works, trust me, all the prerequisite when the foundation is built in the right way, you not only would be able to get back into race, will be able to make those strides you needed. And that's just it. You just, as founder, need to sit and ask questions. But because when you ask questions, you unravel, and when you unravel, you find all the connection. If there's a broken linkage, then you know exactly what you need to do. Oh, does Talia